display grid, it is used to create responsive layout. It is used to create responsive layout. It can change dynamically according to device and orientation. Actually, it wraps content into rows and columns, which can change dynamically. That is the point of grid. All these days, we used grid for general purpose. For arranging information into columns, we used it. Actually, it is used for a different situation. So grid is used for various reasons. Generally, grid main purpose is arranging information into rows and columns and responsive. I will show you the correct way of grid now. Means you can use for columns, but it is not just only for columns. It has a lot of work. I will show you how it works. Actually, so the attributes it will have. So attributes it will have. So like grid row, we have like grid column, we have like grid gap. These are important attributes. All these days we haven't used them. We haven't used grid row, grid column, and grid gap, right? So all these days what we done, we just divided into from 12 fractions. How many fractions? 6 fractions, 6 fractions, like that we divided into columns. But see how actually it works is, I will write a simple layout here so that you can easily understand. Suppose we are creating one page with some responsive we are creating here. See, what I am doing is just layout I will design. I have a header. I will just keep here header. Okay. After that, I am having nav. So this is nav. We have main. That is main. So we have aside. This is ads. So we have footer. So this is footer. Okay, these are all the things we are having. We have a header. So we have a nav, main, aside, and footer. Now I want to keep just all of them in the style header, nav, main, aside, and footer. For all of them, margin I will give 10 pixel. For all of them, border I will give 2 pixel solid black. And I will give some padding as 10 pixel for them. Okay. Now actually, this is all the options we are having. You see, this is how they look like. Now what I want is, I want the header top, footer bottom, nav left side, main center, aside, ads right side. Understood? That means header in the top, and in which row? First row. Nav main ads will be in second row, but nav will be in first column, main will be second column, and ads will be third column, right? We want like that. Now see generally how we design. So maximum number of columns, how many? Maximum number of columns, how many? 3. 3 columns we want. One nav, another main, another one ads. So we kept everything in the body. So I am writing here body. Body have display grid. And for grid, we know grid template columns. How many fractions? Suppose 2 fractions left, 10 fractions center, 2 fractions right. 12 out of 12 we have to share. Okay, now you see it looks like this. We divided the body into several fractions. Okay, now comes important point is what is the place of header? So that means we have to write header. In which row we want? Header should be in which row? First row. That means we have to use grid row 1. Okay. In first row it will be there. Okay, fine. From which column to which column it should be? 3 columns, na? That means grid column 1/3. That means 1 to 3. It will say up to 3, not 3. That means you see now it will be like this. It will not include 3. To include 3, we have to give 4. That means up to 4. Up to 4 means it is 4 is not included. 1, 2, 3. That means you will see it is adjusted. That means header is from first column to third column. Okay. Next option here is another option is what is the purpose here of nav? What is nav? What is nav place? In which row we want? Nav should be in which row? Grid row 2, second row. Which column we want? Grid column 1, first column. Where should be main? Main also grid row. Grid row which one? 2. Grid column which one? Second column. Okay. Main I will give height as 300 pixel. Now aside should be which row? Grid row which one? 2 only. Second row only, but grid column which one? Third column. Am I right? Now we have footer. Footer must be which row? Grid row, third row, and grid column from 1 to 4. 1 to 4. You can see it will adjust like this. Now you may ask like what is specialty in this? What is specialty is nothing but suppose I want advertisement left, navigation right. Earlier how you do? Cut and paste. Am I right? You have to cut the and paste that area. You have to move from one place to another place now. But now see how easy it is. I want ads left side and navigation right side. Then see what we have to do. Aside, I will change to grid column 1 and now grid column 3. Automatically they shift places. It is very easy to arrange our content. No cut paste. Earlier, if anybody asked, move the navigation bar from top to bottom, then you have to cut from top and paste in bottom. That is not important. So we should not do like that. Now, what is advantage is when screen width is changing, orientation is changing, we can change its orientation style. Suppose see how I will do now. Suppose if I give nav is which one? 1 and aside also 1. Then both will overlap on each other. Nav and aside will overlap on each other. So aside will kept to 3. Now easily you can arrange. Suppose header I want to give in grid row. This is 1. Footer is 1. And for header which one? Header I will give 3. Then automatically header comes down. Footer goes top. We can shuffle our content very easily. We can rearrange. Now the point is, this is not the concept. We will not change like this. When you are adjusting the screen, they should adjust. Suppose I am watching on mobile in a portrait mode. In a portrait mode, I don't want several columns. Everything should be in one column. At the top, header, after that nav, after that ads, after that main, after that footer. Everything should be in one column. Then how do we design is, we write like this. Actually, we write a logic like this. At the net media. Media indicates, I told you media types. Media types how many? 4. Media all, media screen, media print, media speech. We will say if media is screen, and we will write orientation. Orientation is portrait. 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 Right? If orientation is portrait, then what should happen is simply body display as grid template columns, 12 fractions. That means only one column. After that, what should be the place of header? Header place should be grid row. Which row? 1. What should be the nav? Nav should be grid row 2. What should be aside? Aside is grid row what? 3. After that, main. What is it? Grid row as what? Grid row as 4. And after that, so we have footer, na? Footer, grid row. Grid row is what? 5. And main height same. How many pixels? 300 pixels. Now you can observe here, this is the orientation. Which orientation? Actually, this above code belongs to which orientation? Landscape. That means I will cut that code. I will write media query. At the net what? Media. Media is what? Screen. And what? Orientation. Orientation is what? Landscape. Orientation is landscape. Then the previous one. 2 orientations are there. One landscape. Another one is portrait. Now observe carefully. Copy this code. We have our mobile simulator. Na? Go to the mobile simulator. In the mobile simulator, let's test this page, how it looks like. That means I will open this page. Actually, this is the page. We will open the mobile simulator. In mobile simulator, you can see all will come one below another. All will come one below another. So how many columns are there? How many columns it is having? Only one column. Suppose we change the orientation now. Landscape. I rotate the screen. Then automatically it will display like this. That means now the page is changing complete orientation. That means when you are watching in wide screen, 3 columns are coming. When you are watching in short screen, it is coming in 1 column. And I rotate this now, and again it will be one below another. Complete layout is changing. This is possible with display grid. Actual purpose of display grid is this. It is not just for arranging in columns. All these days you used only for columns. What is the specialty of grid is to create responsive layout. Responsive layout means the complete page layout will change according to device. You are watching on a mobile, you are watching on tab or different devices with different orientation, it will completely change. You see, I will change the device. Suppose I am changing the device like some iPad, and you can see it will display like this. Suppose I change the orientation to landscape, then it will get it column wise. Right? I change the orientation to portrait, then it will get in this way, the complete. I just kept blocks, you put content. Means you design the content. Shopper template we done na? That shopper template must be kept like this. The entire shopper template you designed, that should be designed like this. That means you have to design suitable for mobile and design suitable for the other device. Orientation we have to change. I will show one sample template later. Once we finish all this, we will see one sample template, because in their website also, if you have observed, Get Bootstrap website na, in that Get Bootstrap website, so this is the theme, the shopper template theme. Currently, this is the theme for ordinary screen. You see there is a mobile icon na? You click on mobile icon, it will change like this. Understood? Everything comes into one below another. You must able to design like this. That means you need to write two media queries, one for landscape, another for portrait. That means multiple columns will not be there when we are watching the content in a portrait mode. That is what the main purpose of grid, right? So grid gap is nothing but width between the grids. So we can just give grid gap. So grid have a gap. Grid gap, how much? 20 pixel, 30 pixel, like this we can give. It will give some gap between them, right? We can adjust the gap between them. So this is actually example. This is the example for creating responsive layout by using display grid. This is example for responsive layout. So all these days, what you know about grid is different and this is different. So these are the important options in display. We have some more options: text effects and 2D, 3D animations that we will see in next session. With that text effects, 2D, 3D animations, we will finish the CSS. Then we will go into Bootstrap. Bootstrap means more effective in CSS. By using Bootstrap, we can create more effective designs more than CSS. That we will see in the next levels, right? Monday will continue with that, okay?